Welcome to Adventures of an Entrepreneur with Bruce Bright Jr. Join the journey to become a successful entrepreneur with someone who's learning from experts and diving deep into the decision-making within his own business.
Welcome to Adventures of an Entrepreneur. Today I'm talking with Angel Ribo. He is a CEO consultant. He goes by the CEO Confidant. He coaches CEOs all over the world, has a global brand, also has a deep mission and passion for helping underprivileged kids in Latin America. And we talk in depth about his nonprofit down there and what he does for them. A great guy. I love talking to him, learned a lot. Let's dive into it. Angel Ribo. Welcome to the show, Angel. How are you doing today?
Very well, thank you. Thank you for having me, Bruce. And thank you everybody listening to us today.
Oh, well, yeah. Thanks for taking time out of your schedule. I know you're a pretty busy guy.
Yes, I am, but everybody is.
So you're a coach of CEOs, you advise CEOs, but you haven't always been successful in where you are today. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your origin story, about how it all started for you?
Yes, well, I mean, it's very early on. While I was in college, back in Spain, I'm originally from, near Barcelona. Since I was in college, I was always like working, and always, as I was able to speak English and Spanish, I always, was on some kind of international, environment, international arena. I was the president of an international organization, while in college. And, I started my international career literally when I finished college, because I started to work actually for the president of the university I studied on. And I started working at his office as an international programs coordinator, something like that. That was the title. And then, I moved to the UK to work for my first, American company ever. And that started starting going from, the UK into Latin America and then to the US. But since the 90s, I always worked for, large American corporations, mainly high tech, up until 2016. And then, I decided to become my own boss. And, as anybody else, you have your ups and downs, and you have, better companies, or maybe the same company and maybe a better boss, or and better leaders that are helping you, make progress throughout your life. And it's always a matter of being open. I felt always like, going from one country to another, conducting business in, I think when I counted the countries, I think it was like 30 something countries I had conducted business.
Wow.
I always felt myself like, I was a citizen of the world, so it was normal for me to reach out to people, even if I didn't speak their language, or even if I didn't really was acquainted with their culture initially. But at the end of the day, I think that there are these commonalities that allow us as human beings to connect with others, regardless of where you are. It can be as challenging, for instance, right now I'm, originally from Europe and I live in Texas, but you are, you right now live in Alabama. So it can be as challenging for a Texan to get along well with someone in Alabama. But I know you're not originally from Alabama, so you probably also had your challenges when you were younger, moving from one state to another. So what I'm trying to say is that most of our challenges come from uncertainty and maybe not knowing, and maybe being fearful of what can happen in the future. I would say that I was kind of very courageous and a little bit daring when I was a kid, and that probably helped me all the way.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's a common feature with entrepreneurs. You got to be able to take some risk, and shows it paid off for you, for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. Risk.
Yeah.
I think risk is relative. Risk is not bad. Risk is not bad. If we were just enjoying taking risks, the problem is that probably when we were kids, obviously our parents love us, so much that they want us to get into trouble, and they want us to survive, right?
Yeah.
And they try to do the best they can with us, right? But also, I think that the risk has very positive things behind it. The concept of risk. You yourself, I mean, you told me before the conversation that you were a basketball player, you still play basketball. For instance, we have had in Spain, very good basketball players in the NBA, as you probably know.
Yeah.
And many of them, those guys really took a lot of risks because Europe was not known in the basketball arena before, but they took a lot of risks, and eventually they became really successful here. And then they went back to Spain, and they made the Spanish national team win many world champions and European champions. Again, I think risk is fun. Risk is fun. We should probably live more in the present moment, as opposed to thinking, oh, what might happen in the future if we did that. Just trust the process. Trust the
it makes
process.
it more exciting too. If there's no
exactly.
risk, it wouldn't be worth it.
Yeah, but you have to live it. People live obviously. Not everybody takes risk positively, and people are under fear. And as you know, I mean, you interview a lot of entrepreneurs. There's a lot of entrepreneurs right now that they are in fear because of the uncertainty, because of the confusion, because of the frustration, right?
Mhm.
I post on LinkedIn every single day, and I've been posting, for the last probably 12 months, I've been posting a lot about building bridges, like try to reunite, try to get together. I know there's a lot of reasons why we could be separated, that we could be like we're either on one side of the political aisle or another, or a religious or aisle or another.
Yeah.
That's the easy thing. In reality, I think that we are all genuinely good, and we are here to do good.
I like that. Yeah, there's a lot of division right now, especially if you're watching the news or social media. It just amplifies it. It seems like it's everywhere.
But we as broadcasters, I think that it's one of our roles is to be the leaders, to decide what we want to share with the world. Do we want to share unity, or do we want to share, this separation, this polarization? And it's up to us. It's not that we, I don't think we have to take sides in a way in which we have to separate from each other. I think that the beauty of this world is that we can help each other. And, I'm sure that when you started your podcast, you really wanted to make a difference in this world. That's why you did it. You had many choices, right? You could do many things with your time and with your life. And you decided to be the amplifier, right? You decided to be the conduit of, the experience of other people, so that you can help your audience.
Yeah.
You had choices, and you took this route. So I think that we are in a position of responsibility. This interview is going to be watched and listened to in many platforms, right?
Yep.
And some people will resonate with the message. And I think that, it's our role to help as much as we can to make this world a better place.
I love that. I think you're perfect. I think you're right. Let's talk about your business, a little bit about what you do. Can you explain
Yes.
what you do and how you started it?
Yes. So I started it in 2016. I started my own consulting firm. So basically, as you very well said, my brand is the CEO Confidant. And the reason why it's called like this is because when I started my own business, actually, I didn't call myself the CEO Confidant right away. I just started to, analyze and think about what I had done in my life. How many companies I had helped, what kind of people had interactions inside those companies, where those companies were. And I realized that I had done a lot of work with a lot of corporations, mainly talking to the high level executives in those corporations. And that's why what I do today, as the CEO Confidant, what we do, because we are a team, what we do is we help both corporate CEOs and established entrepreneurs to bridge the gap globally for expansion and exposure. We strongly believe that going global, going international is a great way to accelerate the growth of your business. That's what I think, and that's what we do.
I mean, it makes sense. The broader your audience, the more money you can make.
Yeah, there's obviously you have to make you have to do your homework, right? But sometimes there's two blind spots I think I would like to share with you and with your audience. Number one.
Sure.
What you just said is so true, but sometimes we think that just being on the internet, and maybe we think that just being in the internet, everybody in the world is going to see us, and that's not true. Culturally speaking, it's not the same. Even if if you're trying to speak to to a British, or you're trying to speak to an Australian, it's the same language, or a South African, it's the same language, but there's certain things that you should know, you should be aware of before you talk to them. That's something I strongly believe. And second, it's true that the broader your audience, but also you have to customize, you have to localize your offer. Whatever it is that you offer, you have to make it, you have to adapt it to the new, let's say, requirements, needs, or even constraints of the users or of the, potential clients in the area where you want to expand. So it has to be done wisely. So you have to know exactly how to do it and what are your priorities. But yes, I think that we have been shown, regardless of the pain and the fear that a lot of people are going through right now, they have been going through for the last year. We have been shown that, we live in a global community, and something can in a relative short period of time, something can be global. Yeah. and can actually spread to the 7.5 billion people in the world, right? Like this, with the snap of
been shown this year.
Exactly, with the snap of a finger. So that means that we live in a global environment, and we can definitely help each other. And there's many opportunities out there. We just have to focus on achieving, certain results, and just make sure that you do the right things.
Yeah. So what you're saying is you want to have a broad audience, but within those smaller audiences, you have to personalize it for that region and that culture is what you mean. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. So it's like, again, when we start our business, we want to make sure that we have some audience, right? We have some potential clients out there, but sometimes we're trying to go so broad that we forget the most important thing. You don't want to have any kind of client. You don't want to serve any kind of people, right? You want to serve everybody. You want to serve every, potential male or female out there that could benefit from what you do, right? So I think that the more you specify and the more you talk to a specific audience that you feel comfortable serving, the better job you do. So imagine that you want to expand your business. Imagine that you're proficient in Spanish, or you have someone on your team that can help you localize your practice, whatever that is, your services. So if you want to go out there, I think that you will want to be speaking to that audience the way that you want them to listen to you. Okay, it's not just going broad and talk to everybody. Let's say you want to go, I don't know, to Colombia, right, in South America. So you want to speak specifically to the people in Colombia that you want to serve. You don't want to serve everybody. You want to serve certain people that have certain requirements or certain needs or certain wants, right? So you have to be very specific. That's why I think that, yes, it's good to go global, but you have to be specific. You have to talk. And sometimes, again, we are fearful of being very specific and niche down a lot because we think that we might lose clients, but it's the other way around. The more specific we are, the more we are able to talk to what people really want. I think the better it's going to go in an international, let's say, expansion, strategy or initiative that we might want to engage with.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you speak Spanish and English?
Yes.
So do you specialize in mostly Spanish and English countries? How do you deal with a country that doesn't speak one of those?
Yes. So I speak French as well. I speak Portuguese. Okay. And I also speak Catalan, is a language that we speak in the northeast of Spain. So when I'm going somewhere else, I have business partners that help me. Okay. With French, English, the reality is that you can reach out to, and Spanish, you can reach out to literally, probably over 1 billion, far more than 1 billion people in the planet, right? So, and when I go to, for instance, to a specific place in Asia where I don't speak the language, I typically rely on local partners that can help me, do that, can help me localize my services, speak to the people in their own language, have the introductions that they need made for me, these kind of things. Again, it's this, as anything else. It's like when you're practicing your throw, right? You're a basketball player. It's the same thing. How many times have you tried a certain type of throw? How many?
Thousands.
let's say exactly. Let's say a specific throw that you really like and you're really successful on, okay? Because you're very proud of it. You know, you said thousands, right? So it's the same with a business. I've done this thousands of times for so many people that for me doing that, I mean, I'm not perfect. Obviously, I have my own flaws and I still make mistakes. But in reality, when you do something so many times, you eventually do something right.
Yeah.
And that's what I offer, right? That's the value I offer to my business partners today.
I get that. And so when you were working for these companies and you were helping them, when did it click when you were like, I think I can make money for myself and make a little bit better living for myself? What changed? Because I'm sure you were making good money helping these companies.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, absolutely. I think that, everybody finds themselves, uh, everybody finds a point in time, a moment in your life in which you think that you have to do something else, right? um, I think that it's very important for all of us, young or old, whatever, it doesn't matter where we are, to be open and to be listening, to be listening to what's going on in your world, in your friend, with your friends, with your family, with your relatives. I think that you have to be open to listen. And sometimes you have to make decisions like, I want to spend more time with my family. I want to spend more time with things that are really going to change the world. And I was exposed for so long. I was working in Latin America and I was seeing so much poverty all over the place that at some point I said, I have to do something in my life, which is going to be, you know, basically giving back to all those communities that I was doing business in. And I think that I have to be the connection between all those executives I helped in that continent, in Latin America, and all the people that I saw that were suffering, were in poverty and were in pain. And I think that was the trigger, the need to give back, the need to go back to the world, in this case Latin America. And as you know, you've seen on my resume or on my bio that I created, or we created together with two other executives, we created Wisdom for Kids, the foundation that we help underprivileged kids in Latin America become entrepreneurs using their local resources. So I had helped so many entrepreneurs, and I had also helped so many companies that we decided, all three, we're three co-founders, we decided to start Wisdom for Kids and to start giving back. I would say that was one of the reasons.
So you just found a deeper purpose. You said, I have to do something
Yes,
that gives me more freedom, allow me to give back.
yes, exactly. And again, it doesn't mean that I didn't take risks. Obviously, we all take risks,
probably more risks
all the time. Exactly. But it's okay. It's like sometimes we are too constrained ourselves by the fact that we want to fit in. We are looking for social approval, right? And we have to measure our words to the point. I mean, we are too resistant to what's going on around us. We are always analyzing, why did he or she say that? What's the reason behind it? I mean, is it possible that someone doesn't really have an agenda and that person is just who they are and they just say whatever they feel? And, I think that things are already too complicated to overcomplicate them more and overthink stuff. I think honestly, regardless of where everybody is right now, I think that we all have a good heart. We all want to help each other. And and even if we burned some bridges last year because it was a tough year for everybody, we always can rebuild those bridges, and we always can do a better job as a community. And I really think that again, as I said before, your role as a broadcaster right now, it's really, really important. You're really here to do extremely important things. And obviously we all start from small, right? But still, I mean, you're exposing yourself, and you could have looked for a super fancy studio and everything. I mean, I see that. I mean, I see where you are. I picture myself where you are right now, and I feel so much identified with yourself, that again, you're being yourself. You're fearless, and as you are exposing yourself, and that's sometimes it can be weird, and you can you can be uncomfortable with what you're doing, and but it takes. I remember the first time I shot a video with myself of myself, the first time ever on Facebook that they went live. I mean, I was under so much pressure. I mean, I wasn't interviewing anybody. It was just myself talking about myself and about my life. And I was under so much pressure that as soon as I hit, stop broadcasting, stop on Facebook, I remember crying like a baby just because the pressure was so high. It was so, and I had been in front of literally over 1,000 people on a board, on a ballroom. I have spoken publicly for many, many, many years, but still, we are human beings, and we have to acknowledge our limiting beliefs and our fears. That's who we are.
Yeah, I kind of pieced this together. I'm in my closet right now. I kind of turned it into a studio. Cool. I built a desk in here. That's what my computer's on. My sister painted this banner. So I'm just kind of.
How old is your sister?
Huh?
How old is your sister?
She's 19, about to turn 20. Yeah.
Awesome.
So she's in college too, but yeah, I asked her to paint me something and she knocked it out.
You see how simple it is? I mean, you're a great example, Bruce. You're a great, great, great example of what we should all be doing. And my favorite mantra when I speak with and work with, both corporate executives and with entrepreneurs is take imperfect action now. Take imperfect action now.
I like that.
So, yeah. So, I love it that you involved your sister. I love it that you're doing it in the closet. So, you have your own space, like your private space, right? And you also have, there's a jersey on the wall. So it means that you like sports, right?
Yeah.
And people that know more about NFL than myself, they will identify, or football, will identify that jersey better. I'm coming more from a soccer kind of life, being originally from near Barcelona. But
yeah,
again, what does it take to start your own broadcasting station, right? So not much, just wanting to do it.
Yeah, not a ton. It's just more time, really, more effort than anything.
Exactly.
Want to do it.
Exactly. So it's you're a great example. So I really congratulate you, Bruce, for what you're doing.
Well, thank you. I like what you were saying about everyone is generally good, because that's a positive outlook. I think it shows something about your mindset. I like talking about entrepreneurs' mindsets and kind of how they think. And most of the entrepreneurs I've met all have very positive mindsets. They're always seeing opportunities in things. And the fact that you said most people are generally good, it's kind of a glass half full perspective, which I think is really cool. Do you think, have you always been a positive kind of guy?
I think
looking for opportunities? Yeah,
I think that everybody is genuinely good. Everybody, honestly. But we, again, sometimes we get into that space in which we want to defend ourselves. We want to, try to justify ourselves, which we really don't need to, because when we do that, we're trying to fit in. We're trying to be socially acceptable for someone or some group, whatever that is. Again, I'm as you can imagine, I'm extremely respectful. The only way you can do business in so many countries is if you are extremely respectful and you honor the cultures and the people that you meet all the way, right? For so many years. And obviously, if you walk your talk, right? If you walk your talk, that's the only way you can do it. I would say that, yes, my father is one of the most positive, optimistic, people I've ever met in my life. And I think that he's made a huge impact in my life. I remember going to he always was an executive in large corporations. And I remember going to his companies over the weekends since I was a kid, And I remember, playing with other shareholders of those companies. I remember playing with the, forklifts on those manufacturing plants and these kind of things. When you're a kid, you play with anything, right? So I was always with him and learning and going around, walking around those manufacturing plants. And I was extremely happy. I was just with my dad, and I wanted to learn and I wanted to get to know more things, So it's from that place. It doesn't mean that I have had a lot of challenges in my life. It's just the way that you face those challenges. It's the way that you get to play with the cards that you're being dealt or
Yeah.
being given. If you're and again, I always felt like, for me, learning languages very early on in my life, foreign languages, was like the perfect thing to have as a place of safety for me to go all over the place. So obviously I meet a lot of people that I have met a lot of people that speak other languages that I don't, but still, there's always some common language that you speak. Or for instance, I am a member of the African Chamber of Commerce here in the Dallas Fort Worth area. So I meet with African government delegations very often. Some of them speak English, some others they don't. But there's always a common denominator. There's something that we can do, and we can always draw, and we can always use our hands and our eyes and our expressions, and there's so many things that we can do. Again, I think that the world itself is full of opportunities all the time.
Yeah. Not necessarily everyone starts on the same level, but there's definitely, everyone has opportunities. You just got to make the most of whatever you've got.
And also, for someone, as you said, starting like you, you see different opportunities, and that's good. That's perfect. You probably see opportunities I don't see, which is good. And probably also I am biased, because I've lived a few more years than you, and probably you see more opportunities than me because I am biased. And that's the beauty of being young and seeing the world full of opportunities, that as you are not as biased as I am, just because of my age, right?
Yeah.
Of my experience, you probably are going to take fights, like, good fights that wouldn't take. That's the beauty, and one of those fights is probably, podcasting. And that's awesome. And you will be exposed to great knowledge, to great people, you are yourself opening to opportunities. And even myself, I could, when my team was supporting me and interacting with you when we were trying to set this interview up, again, my team could have said, no, this guy doesn't have an audience, he just started. And you know what my favorite answer is? When sometimes they tell me this, I tell them, so what? So what? So what? So what if, Bruce's podcast episode with me, there's someone listening to that episode and they learn something, and I humbly teaching something to someone, so what? Who knows who's going to listen to this episode today, Bruce? Again, so I think that the so what attitude is also a way to see the world full of opportunities. And we're going back to the same place, so what? So what? A lot of people say a lot of things, but so what? Start using that. Start using the so what, so what?
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, it's really eye-opening. So what? Okay, so tell me what you mean by saying that. So what? So he has a very short audience or a small audience. So what?
Yeah.
What if he has 1 million followers in a couple of years? And he still has this episode up, or so what?
Yeah.
Again, I like to spend time with people that really trust in themselves.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate it.
No, of course.
Let's go back to Wisdom for Kids. Why don't you talk a little bit about what y'all do? Because you said you helped a ton of Latin American kids so far. What exactly do y'all do?
Yeah, so basically, there's, just to put a little bit of context here, in Latin America, there are in 2012, there were about 170 million kids in Latin America, okay? Of these 170 million kids, 81 million kids were living in poverty, all right?
Wow.
So picture this, 81 million kids living in poverty. Of these 81 million, 22 do not have access to drinking water. Okay, they do not have access to drinking water. So they have to really figure out how to do it, how they are going to drink water and find water and get themselves, washed, whatever that is. It's challenging. So basically what we do is we identify communities that have, kids in need, and there's different levels of poverty depending on what community is, if it's a urban, suburban, rural, or even indigenous. And then we go to those communities, we talk to the community leaders, and then we ask them, we would like to do that. The first question they always ask us is, how much is it going to cost us? All the time. How much is that going to cost us? And we always say the same thing, nothing. And then they say, why? Wow, that's awesome. Why would you do that for our kids? And I say, well, because it's our mission, right? And we don't have any hidden agenda. That's what we do. Actually, we are extremely cautious about all the information that we gather from the kids. We really don't have a registry. We don't keep any information. We just make sure that we are connected to these community leaders. And then we go to those communities. We ask those leaders to bring all those kids together, and then we basically deliver them workshops. We have those workshops in which we basically work a lot with those kids so that they realize, we inspire them to realize that they really can do anything with their lives, and they can really do great things in the world. We believe that every human being has an unlimited potential, and the kids, obviously, they have much more potential than us because they still haven't been biased by adults and education and the rest of things that in society that try to kind of cookie cut us. And probably you understand what I mean.
I get
so
it.
it's beautiful to go there, and we really focus on the mindset, really, because we believe, number one, we know they're poor kids, and sometimes or very often their families are not properly structured. Okay, so maybe they don't have parents, or they only have one parent, or maybe they have tutors, or they have relatives taking care of them. So we work a lot on self-esteem, a lot, and we do very uncomfortable and not uncomfortable and unconventional things with them. Like it's not a whiteboard kind of teaching or training workshop. No. It's experiential. Okay, so we dance, we jump, we sing, we play, and we have a lot of interaction. So it's 2 hours, like we are fully onto the experience. We as volunteers of Wisdom for Kids, and we even do we have a meditation, a 20-minute meditation, full of very powerful affirmations, right? So the outcome of those workshops is typically that those kids say, wow, they didn't know that was possible. They didn't know that they really deserved everything that they do, because again, we do a lot of work on their mind because when you really are able to connect yourself as the volunteers of Wisdom for Kids with those kids at we call it at a certain energy level, because the kids jump and they want to have fun. If you've ever babysat someone, or you've been in a classroom with young kids of an elementary school, for instance, that they really want to have fun. The kids want to have fun. If you give them an excuse to have fun, the first 5 minutes of the workshop is dancing a song. And it's one of those very, like, I would say, dance electronic song, very like, super, jacked up kind of song. The kids love it. I mean, they don't know me of anything. I love to start the workshops myself. They don't know me of anything, but as soon as I start jumping and doing silly stuff before them, in the front of whatever the auditorium is, or the class is, or the room is, they start jumping with me. They just want to have fun. And that's this childlike attitude that very often I talk to entrepreneurs and to executives, which is this curiosity. And it's wonderful to be able to work with kids, because they have this intact curiosity to embrace what you're telling them. And then we ask them, what do you want to be when you grow up? What would you like to do? And sometimes they say, I would like to be a police officer. I would like to be part of the army, whatever that is. And we help them understand that whatever they want to be is going to be okay. They don't have to be whatever the society is going to tell them. Be whatever you feel like is going to make you happy. Wow. We need to be more happy. We need to be, and we want to teach that to them. And we make sure that they keep on like doing the same things that we do during the workshop, and we give them a booklet literally. And we obviously, all the community leaders know where to find us. And we know that we really make a difference every time that we go to one of those communities.
Wow, that's awesome. I was gonna call it education, but it sounds more like an inspirational kind of
It
experience
is. It
rather
is.
than rather
It
than
is.
just education.
Exactly. It's been studied. Training is training, and you learn stuff or you remember stuff. It's like let me make a comparison here. It's like I think that our lives are very often like there's milestones in our lives which are related to specific songs, right? So I
Mhm.
think that there's certain titles or tunes that when you hear them again, immediately you go back in time and you remember certain things that happened when you were listening to that song.
Yeah.
That happens to me all the time. I mean, I love music, I love dancing, and it happens to me all the time. So that's why I think that those kids, well, I don't think, I'm sure, because obviously we go back to those communities and we talk to the community leaders and to the volunteers. They remember us. They remember us. They see us when we go back to the community and then remember that they had a blast with us, because they will never forget that experience. They never had that experience before. I mean, we spent, Bruce, so that, we spent 2 years and two PhD students working on this workshop. I mean, two PhD students in the educational arena, right? So there was one of our founders. He's a professor. He's a former professor of actually two different colleges in Mexico, and he taught thousands of teachers. So right now there's thousands of teachers in Latin America that were educated by this gentleman.
Yeah.
So, and he has like 70 plus textbooks right now being used. So
Wow.
we really took it seriously. We really wanted to make a powerful workshop that would change the lives of those kids, during and after our delivery of the workshop itself or
Yeah.
themselves.
And where do y'all get these volunteers? Are these
Yeah,
local
they can go
volunteers or
to.
do you bring them from America?
Actually, they can. I mean, we receive requests from, all the time. If you go to wisdomforkids.today, there's a place where you can actually sign up as a volunteer. Wisdomforkids.today, and that's where we get our volunteers. Obviously, also the word of mouth. When we go to communities, people want to engage, people want to be with us, and people want to be able to be part of this and follow up with the families afterwards. I mean, that's why I said what I said before. I mean, I think that people are genuinely good and they really want to make a difference.
Yeah. Oh, just had a question. I forgot. Well,
That's okay.
so back to your business, do you have any like future goals that you see yourself 5-10 years down the road? Do you have kind of like a vision? I know a lot of people
Yeah,
have
one of
long-term visions.
yes. So I consider myself a connector of the unconnected. I think that there's a lot of people that need connection. I think that just last year, just the last 12 months, Bruce, there's been literally millions of people that have lost connection at some point, at some level. Connection with others, connection with institutions, connection with the rest of the world, with the rest of the community. So I consider myself someone who really wants to help people connect, okay, to help people connect. And that's why I said, I was so blessed to be able to work with, so many high level executives throughout my life, that I think that my mission is to connect as many people as possible and make them aware of what's happening at the bottom of the world, at the bottom of this society, which is the underprivileged kids. And
Yeah.
we have a huge responsibility, I think, as human beings, to make sure that we really take care of the ownership of these kids, the children of the future. I think, the children of today, which is going to be the future of
leaders.
our world, right? So I think that we have to be there. I think that, so that's my goal. My goal is to be able to help as many thousands or hundreds of thousands of kids in Latin America as much as possible, but also making sure that we connect these people with, these very high level executives with these people that are suffering today, the people that live in poverty. And that's my goal, to keep on being a connector, to keep on being extremely present in the, in the corporate world, but making sure that my message transpires, the message of supporting the ones that need it the most. Okay. And that's what I am. I consider myself, I sometimes, interview, C-level executives, and I'm extremely picky about the interviews I conduct. But when I do that, I make sure that there's always a message. There's always this individual that has this amazing personal story that eventually kids can relate to. I remember, when I started Wisdom for Kids, actually I started recording messages from CEOs and from C-level executives, so that I could use those messages to inspire the kids. So actually, I bring those messages from CEOs in America to Latin America to show those kids that they can become entrepreneurs when they grow up.
That's awesome. That kind of ties back to your global brand, because the more reach you have as a brand and as a person, the quicker you can accomplish this mission or help more kids.
Absolutely, I agree. Yeah, I totally agree. I couldn't agree more. It's like, again, my exposure, my impact, my influence is just a conduit for being able to help the most underprivileged be inspired by the most enlightened, or the most empowered, or the ones that really have powerful messages, or the ones that have accomplished so much in the world today. That's why, again, my presence in the corporate world is so strong, because I want to nurture all those relationships so that we can all together reach out to the most underprivileged, but together.
Yeah, I love that. I like talking to people with a deeper purpose, and that you clearly have a really admirable one.
Thank you.
I also ask this. I usually ask all the people I interview this because it's interesting to me. Do you have a morning or night routine that you kind of stick to? Because I've found that most entrepreneurs they're like really rigid in their morning routine. They wake up and they do the same thing, kind of. Do you have one of those, or?
Well, I have affirmations. I have to say, I used to. So depending on number one, I really don't want to be hard on myself. Okay, so everything I do is fine, and I am very compassionate with myself, because otherwise, there's so many things going on in my life, and I have kids, and I have to take care of the kids and the family and the business and my clients and my team and everything, right? So that's the first thing I would like to say. So there's things I do, and I do consistently, and there's other things that I do from time to time. So for instance, I have my favorite affirmations. I have my favorite YouTube channels that I follow, that I have my favorite videos that I play in the morning. I have my favorite things I journal on, and that's what I feed my my brain, and what I feed my being. Yeah. I meditate every single morning, and I have a meditation group that I meditate every single morning. I've been meditating with them for the last 1,100 something days, literally. Wow. Every single morning. We are a group of 9 people from many different places, and we follow a practice which is called the intention experiment, which was intention experiment, which is actually inspired by a book called the same way, in the intention experiment, by Lynn McTaggart. Which every week we intend for something different, and it's actually one of the anchors of my day. You were asking for this, so yeah. I think that it's really nice to start the day in a place where you are actually giving yourself, for others, yeah. And intending for something. We intend for something good every single week, and it's a nice way to start the day.
Awesome. Yeah, I asked that because I usually try to pick up a few and try them. So I've been taking cold showers every day, and that's terrible, but I've been doing it for like a week now. I wake up at 6 a.m. every day now for like the past month or month and a half. I don't journal. Journaling is the one I just can't get myself to do. I don't know how to do it. I'm not good at it. But meditation is something I've tried. It's hard.
Yeah, I do the shower. It's funny that you mention it. It's one of those things that I have so much already incorporated into my life that I didn't give it the importance that it deserves. But I've been taking cold showers. Even when I go to Canada in the winter, I take cold showers wherever I am for the last 5 years.
Wow.
So I mean, when you take a cold shower and it hurts.
Yeah.
It literally hurts. So yes, I think probably that's keeping me so enthusiastic and passionate and young and and energetic and everything. So yeah, I mean, just I think if you're not still getting into journaling, that's fine. It's okay. Just keep your journal next to maybe your side table, in your bedroom. That's it. And one day you will start using it, and until it becomes a habit. But again, don't be so hard on yourself. You have to be happy, because the thing about getting hard on yourself, until you don't really like do it every single day, you typically become like very hard. And then you are remorseful. Oh, today I didn't do that. Oh, today I didn't do that. Today I didn't do that. So I tend to be so flexible all the time, because I've learned to be flexible everywhere I go. I have to be flexible. I have to adapt to people. So other things that work for me, yes, let's do it. If things maybe I'm not used to, it's okay.
Yeah. I'm going to try the journaling thing. It's difficult. But I like the cold showers so far. It's energizing, and it's just kind of like a mental test almost, just like putting yourself through something that's not fun just because you can control it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I like it.
It's true. And you have a choice in the morning. Every morning you have a choice, right? It's either cold water or warm water or so, right? So
yeah,
I like it. I like cold showers already.
Yeah. All right. So before I wrap it up, I usually end it with this question. What kind of advice would you give someone who's on the fence about starting a business? They've always maybe thought about starting a business, but they never have. Maybe they're at a job they don't like, or maybe they're young like me and just don't know what to do with themselves. They're thinking about starting a company. What would you say to them?
Start with a very simple thing that you really like and try it out. That's what I would say. I mean, how many, I don't know, just to ask you, when did you start your podcast, Bruce?
My podcast, December of last year.
Okay. So how many people have you interviewed already?
10 maybe.
Okay,
10.
Good. Well, so those are 10 potential friends, 10 potential business partners, 10 potential clients, 10 potential, you name it, and that's it. Again, just pick something that you like and do it. I mean, that's why I always say, take imperfect action now. It's much easier than what you think. Reach out to people and see what they say about what you have to offer. That's it. Obviously it takes something, right? It takes courage to do certain things, but just do one thing. Just try one thing that you really like, expose yourself, start proof testing it, and just take it from there. It's much more simple than what you think. And also listen to what's happening around you. Sometimes people ask me, what were the opportunities that were presented to you in 2020? Well, one of the opportunities is that there was so much, fear and so many people being unemployed, and there's so many things happening, and these emotions and these feelings and you said it very well. You see it on TV. I mean, I had never seen so many people yelling at you from TV. I mean, literally yelling. I mean, have you seen that? I have seen that.
Yeah.
I mean, on the news, yelling at you. It's like, so, just be gentle with yourself. Try something, try one thing, try doing it, in your environment around you, in your community. Try if it works. You know what people need, because you see it every day, because you listen to this and you hear it every single day. And that's it. Try it. Try it. I was the other day delivering here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area for one of the business accelerators. I was delivering a webinar on pivoting, on reinventing yourself, right? Yeah. So, hey, it doesn't take anything to reinvent yourself. Just try it out. Just try it, proof test it, look for people around you, your friends, your business partners, your acquaintances. Ask for references, ask for people that you would like to talk to, and eventually you will be delivering so much value that you will be able to charge for it.
Yeah. I get
So don't be hard on yourself. Start somewhere and start giving away value. Talking to potential clients. It's much simpler than what it looks like. Really, it's much more simple. I know there's fear. I know that you have to pay your bills. I know that you have probably your mortgage. I mean, I get it. I was there too. I mean, I understand it. I know that you have probably your college, loans, all those things. I mean, I know that, but still, what does it take to you to choose between, social media browsing or reaching out to a potential client? One game on TV, as much as I like sports, or talking to someone that can become your business partner.
Yeah.
Again, it's your choice.
It's
your
small
choice.
things.
It's your choice. I mean, as Tony Robbins says very well, your wealth is proportional to the amount of people that you serve. So start serving people. Start to serve people around you, and you will find the solution. You will find the answer that you're looking for.
That's great. And you can always tweak it as you go, make it better.
Absolutely. You can.
The imperfect version you're going to put out isn't going to be great, but you might get the ball rolling.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, great. Is there anything I haven't brought up that you want to talk about that you're excited about?
Oh, no. Maybe just to give your audience my contact details in case they wanted to reach out to me. Again, my name is Angel Ribo. Ribo spelled as in R-I-B as in boy, O. And my brand is the CEO Confidant. You can find me very easily online. I'm everywhere you can think of, the CEO Confidant, Angel Ribo. You can go to LinkedIn. I'm very active there. I post every single day. I post both business related content and, personal. I believe strongly in building bridges and helping people. I have supported so many people launching their initiatives, their podcasts, launching their books, so many things. And if you want to reach out to me directly, just send me an email to angel@angelribo.com. Angel@angelribo.com. Again, Ribo spelled like R-I-B as in boy, O. And thank you so much for the opportunity, Bruce.
No, yeah. Thank you for coming on. Perfect. We'll put all that in the show notes also, so they can get it there.
Beautiful. Thank you. I appreciate you, Bruce. And thank you, everybody listening to us today.
Yeah. I'll talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Thank you guys for listening to this episode. Please rate and review the podcast if you are enjoying what I'm talking about. I'm trying to grow the podcast and get it up in the rankings. I'm having a great time doing it. I hope you guys are enjoying it. I've got some big interviews planned for the future. So stay tuned and talk to y'all later. See ya.